Welcome to Cashflow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started. John, do we have any questions at the moment at all?
Yeah, Sarah wants to talk to you.
All right, Sarah.
It's not really so much of a question, but I was just going to say, I think it's super helpful because I'm basically trying to model as much as I can after what you're doing, because clearly you're doing something right. So I like looking at the way you're doing a lot of stuff. Right now, I don't have my own P&Ls to compare it to, but it's good for future reference when I do have my.
Then that was basically my intent behind being as transparent as possible, because I want to make sure that you have an understanding of what an acceptable one looks like, and you begin to have some understanding of, okay, well, maybe our expenses are out of whack, or maybe we are doing very, very well. So those are the types of things that matter. Anyone else?
If you own a home and you do not have any W-2 income, you've been a business owner for decades. So you're able to take off, say, our home, a third of our home is our office space. So we're able to take off all of our office expenses, plus a portion of our mortgage that we pay, a portion of our taxes. If we, get the roof fixed after 20 years, a portion of that, even a portion of our laundry, because we wear, specialized uniforms and stuff like that. And we come out on the other end where we always tap out. They always say, okay, don't even bring any more expenses in because you're way over, you have zero liability. So in that instance.
Okay. So you're talking about you have zero taxable income? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the area that we're in, rents, and we've been here for 30 years, rents are about double what we pay, in the little bit of mortgage that we have. So in that instance, is it beneficial to us to,
yes.
Not, okay.
Subscribing is in a situation in which your equity position inside your home is probably very substantial. And so let me ask you this question. Would a 180% return annualized for the next 6 years on whatever that amount of equity help you? Like every year, if you doubled your equity, would that help you? It's either yes or yeah, because it's not that you've done poorly. It's that you're now in that situation to where you got the big pots of money trapped into place, and that's and it's trapped and it's sitting there. It's helping you provide a place to stay. So I would say to you, well, yeah, rent may be double, but it's not equal to your equity, because that's what you're paying. That's really what you're paying. You're paying the opportunity cost of that equity sitting there. So you need to add that into the expense that you call your mortgage, because that's what you're paying. So whatever the return is you could be earning on that is also a part of what's costing you to continue the way that you are in using your resources. That's okay. The truth of the matter. So.
Okay. And a second question, this is for a relative. What about people who have no mortgage and they're in homes or land or whatever that has been passed down through generations and generations, and they have a business? What would you suggest to them? Okay. As far as...
Are you saying that they inherited it?
Correct.
And they're not...
And they live... Well, they live in it. That's, they live in it.
Okay. This is some of the most expensive opportunity cost, because when you inherit an asset, in most cases, again, check with the estate attorney or tax person in your area, but you receive a stepped up in basis. meaning if you sold it for full market value, whatever market value was the time at when you inherited, you pay no tax on it. There is literally no reason to, in that situation, to keep it there. That is, there's no, and I mean, unless you're just afraid you're gonna, I don't know, go YOLO at the club or something. I have no idea. There's no, I just don't. Yeah, there's no reason to leave. There's no reason. That hurts because you're not, I mean, yeah, you didn't lose it, but you didn't gain either. And any gain you get is to a hopeful appearance of appreciation as measured in US dollars, which we've already learned when measured in gold, real estate has been crashing for quite some time. So no is the answer. Is that we have to, because of the rules of money changed in 71 and got compounded in 74, we have to be the ones in control of the assets and intentionally making them grow, which means we have to learn how to do that ourselves, because we can't count on Wall Street to do it. They don't have our best interest at heart.
I have a just VR related question.
Okay.
It's a story, we've actually talked about it, and I just forgot what we concluded. But for everyone else's benefit, we have a landlord that we've been paying partial rents, and the landlord sold the community, and there's a new owner now. The new owner approached us about a month ago and said, we'd like you to leave. And in exchange for leaving, we will waive all of your past due rents. Now, so that everyone is aware, I have no intention of not running my business, and I have no intention of not paying my debtors. But they thought that was a good deal. And so we replied back with, we understand that this is your stance and you would like us to leave. And if you would like us to leave, we'd be happy to leave, so long as you pay us for doing you a favor. Because moving ain't free and losing income ain't free. Well, he decided that they were going to get creative, if you want to call it that, and change the terms of our tenancy. So I'm going to share my screen, and here is the change. So the reason this is coming back up is because I engaged the landlord last week by saying, hey, you know that unit that I have that had a flood in it that the previous owner never did anything about?
Yes.
I'm wondering what you guys are going to do about it. And come to find out, it was complete news to him. So the unit has not been used since November 3rd. So December, January, February, 3 full months. It's been sitting empty, essentially. He had no idea what it was about. And throughout the weekend, he had asked me, can you give me a timeline of events? So I gave him a timeline of everything that happened, every photo we have, every video we have, the quotes, the insurance agency information, the remediation company's report. And they finally said, we need to order an environmental report. And I said, that's exactly what I've been asking for the whole time. And they came back today and he asked me, we're still waiting for results on the environmental report. Are you planning on continuing to sublet the apartment if that comes back clear? And my reply was, my company's intention is to continue to host guests in the apartment.
You responded to that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
That's exactly what I said. It is our intention to continue to host guests.
Okay, got it. No problem.
And his reply was, are you aware that after the 16th we'll be in default of your lease? And he resent this notice, which I remember seeing at some point in time.
Okay, what's your question?
So the question is, you with knowledge of our current state laws, is this even legal?
We have grounds on which to challenge the legality. So there's some, what is the word? I can't remember the legal term for it right now off the top of my head, but they're giving us, they're making a material change in a unilateral fashion, which is typically by default in our favor if taken to court. So they're free to make the change, but they're not free of the consequences associated with the change, if that makes sense. So while if this is how they want to play, that's fine. stupid. Because first we can challenge on the grounds of legality. Second, we can challenge on the grounds that we don't sublet or sign, which is what their ignorance plays against them because it's not what we do. Because if we can't get it thrown out for being illegal, we have the capacity to argue that that's fine and we're in compliance. So, which is comical at best. And then at worst, if we really, really, really want to go there, all we got to do is switch to the extended stay and that would.
Well, so interesting in this article here, or section 32, they also say you may not advertise.
And what they say, I got that. I don't really. That's fine. I don't need I don't need those places in order to keep the place full. And okay, fine. That's fine because the definition again of advertisement is something completely different again legally than what I'm concerned about what we do. So again, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with this. It's the aggro nature of the person and not taking the time to actually understand. It's the I know I'm right, I believe I'm right, and they happen to be up against a situation in which I take the time to read this stuff for fun.
So at this point, would you just send this thread to Google and let them handle it?
Yeah, we just need to send it to Richard and give him the same information that I just gave you so that he can now be armed with an understanding of where we're coming from. And then he can go look up the correct sections and civil codes and all this other stuff and begin to tell them the amount of dollars of amounts of penalties that they're doing for interfering with the business, because we are not liable for their severe lack of due diligence. Their lack of preparation is not my emergency. And that is what they're attempting to do here.
Change how you operate at all?
What's that?
Would you change how you operate today at all? You don't care about the advertised residence on Airbnb or any listing service?
This entire thing is going to go away.
Say again?
Apply to us. That entire thing is going to go away or not apply to us, or we're going to get sufficiently compensated for such.
Understood.
Like the cheap option was what we sent the first time at this point. That was the cheap option.
Yeah. So the second question along the lines of idiotic landlords, the other group of landlords that we know decided last month to take away e-check options for making a payment online.
Yeah.
And now they've actually removed payment method altogether from the logins. Like there's literally no button that says make a payment. They'll try to tell you how much you owe, but you can't make a payment anywhere. So I've emailed last month, I called in and I emailed twice. And this month I emailed once so far, and there's been no reply.
No problem.
So what do you do in this situation? I mean, do you like send a check through certified mail, or if you want to pay rent, or what's the deal?
Let me give some directions probably so I don't forget, then I'll explain. Carly, do me a favor, please. Ask Bella to go in and log into each of the units with Morgan Group to get this exact same screenshot. Please, this exact same screenshot. Because we're going to need it, and I need an annotation of each screenshot and the apartment number so that it's really clear for Richard.
Gotcha.
Okay, so here's what's going on. In a normal situation, Rob, which this clearly ain't.
This what?
I said, which this clearly is not. Under California law, if they accept so what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect their rights to evict is what they're trying to do by accepting money. Like if they accept a partial payment, they reset the proverbial clock, if you will. And that clock is what they're trying to protect, because they're taking the stance where we want you gone as fast as possible. But if we accept money from you, the only way we're going to accept it is if we accept all of it, and which is in direct conflict with AB 3088 and what's supposed to happen.
So just have my VA take screenshots and move on.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, when you should, yes, that because the amount of effort, energy, time, frustration.
Is this a scenario though where you tell Richard, "Hey, draft a letter, send it to their lawyer"?
This is probably more going to be a phone call between them. Is what they're likely what's going to happen.
You want me just to send the email to Richard, or do you want to get on the phone with him?
Yeah, we need to give them context. So you can go ahead and send them the information, and I'll have Carly do the same. But ultimately, yeah, we need to give Richard context so that he's not caught flat-footed, and we can point him in the correct directions to look, so that when he says the words, they'll listen, because we already know what happens when I say them.
Thank you for tuning in to the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a rating and a review. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to cashflowdiary.com to sign up for our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.